The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
Hello, this is TVWAN News. Thanks for joining us. In this edition, 2 cops caught with meth. Landowners put stop to work at Akoro Idubada Point, and Round 11 is amazing round in digital ExxonMobil car. Secretary for Lands Benjamin Sampson was charged with 1 count of abuse of office, 1 count of official corruption, 1 count of conspiracy, and 5 counts of misappropriation for allegedly selling 84 land titles at NCC Port Moresby amounting to over 18 million kina. This is the 3rd arrest in relation to these allegations, where 2 land officers were previously arrested, leading to the recent arrest of Mr. Sampson. According to the police investigation, the land is registered to Nia Limited, but was fraudulently transferred to Wangelo No. 1 Limited without the approval from Nia Limited. The transfer of the titles happened between January 2016 and September 2017. Police confirmed that the 84 allotments consist of commercial and residential land. The secretary was arrested, charged, and had exercised his rights to bail. He is now awaiting court proceedings to begin. A senior police officer and a police constable were among 3 civilians who were arrested in a major drug bust in Port Moresby on Saturday, June 14th, in a hotel room for having in possession methamphetamine. National Capital District Metropolitan Superintendent Warwick Simatab confirmed the 5 as Senior Police Officer Inspector Portal Hussein, Junior Constable Emmanuel Somon, and the 3 civilians are Jafet Warus, Rick Posing, and Kathleen Tau.
2 police officers were caught with methamphetamine during a drug bust over the week. Among them were 3 civilians. And City Metropolitan Superintendent Warwick Simatab said Inspector Portal Hussein, Junior Constable Emmanuel Somon, Jafet Warus, Rick Poising, and Catherine Tau were apprehended in a hotel room. Police found them with drug paraphernalia, indicating they were consuming illicit substances. Simatab said forensic officers at the crime scene confirmed the drugs to be methamphetamine. Simatab stated that Inspector Hussein and Junior Constable Somon will be stripped of their ranks, terminated from the police force, and face court proceedings as civilians. He added that Hussein has outstanding disciplinary issues, summary, and criminal allegations. Simatab thanked members of the public for the crucial tip-off which led to the arrest. He said the operation is a result of excellent intelligence work by his team with public support and proactive policing. While addressing the severe nature of police involvement, Simatab issued a firm warning to police officers who act as criminals while serving in the force that Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary is too big for any individual uniformed cop. Simatab says all 5 suspects are currently detained at the Boroko cells and will be processed. They will appear in court to charges of possession and consumption of methamphetamine.
Chief of Defence Force Rear Admiral Philip Porawara made his first official visit to the 2nd Battalion of Royal Pacific Islands Regiment in Moyam, East Sepik Province early this month. He was accompanied by Chief of Force Preparation Colonel Craig Solomon. Rear Admiral Polewara was received with a welcome parade and was given a tour of the unit by the commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Francis Vitata, and his leadership team. During the visit, the Chief of Defense Force witnessed the promotion of 8 senior non-commissioned officers. He then proceeded to the command officers' mess and promoted 11 officers of the unit. In his address, Rear Admiral Polewara said most times citizens may not see and appreciate the work of PNG Defense Force and its soldiers, but its contribution towards maintaining a presence on land and sea borders and providing security to strategic state assets, contributing enormously to carrying the country and its economy. Representatives from the autonomous Bougainville government and the national government of Papua New Guinea gathered at the historically significant Batam military camp in Christchurch, New Zealand on June 6, 2025 for a joint consultative meeting that concluded Sunday, June 15th. The joint consultations convened by independent moderator Sir Jerry Mateparai were aimed at forging a political pathway to implement the outcome of the 2019 Bougainville referendum.
Joint consultation meeting between representatives from the autonomous Bougainville government and the Papua New Guinea national government were officially opened by Prime Minister James Marape and ABG President Ismail Toroama, highlighting the importance of this dialogue at a critical moment in the Bougainville peace process. The meeting, held at Benham Military Camp in Christchurch, New Zealand, provided a platform for both governments to discuss the next steps in recognizing and operationalizing the will of the Bougainville people, who overwhelmingly voted for greater autonomy or independence in the referendum. Discussions were characterized by a spirit of cooperation and mutual respect, reflecting the shared commitment to achieving lasting peace and stability in the region. As the representatives navigated complex political and social dynamics, they aimed to build consensus on how best to proceed, ensuring that the voices of Bougainvilleans continue to be heard in the decision-making process. This milestone event represents a pivotal step towards the fulfillment of the aspirations of the Bougainville people and the broader goals of national unity within Papua New Guinea. The parties also agreed on core elements of the proposed future political relationship and how to work with Parliament for taking their agreement forward, including the integral role to be played by the Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee on Bougainville. Freddie Mo, TV1 News.
Meantime, Ambassador Isaac Lupari has again called upon elected leaders to exercise caution in considering whether or not Bougainville should become independent. The former Chief Secretary to Government said that it was the duty of all members of Parliament to consider facts and recognize that the national constitution does not allow for any one part of Papua New Guinea to separate. Ambassador Lupari said that it was important that post-referendum consultations continue and urged all members of Parliament to be mindful of their obligations to represent the interest of their constituents and the interest of Papua New Guinea as a whole. Prime Minister James Marape has reaffirmed the enduring legacy and future of Pangu Party as the party synonymous with Papua New Guinea's nationhood, declaring that the party's mission goes far beyond personalities and elections.
Speaking at the Pangu Party fundraising dinner in Port Moresby recently, Prime Minister James Marape paid tribute to the party's historic roots and its continued relevance in modern governance 6 years into his term as the nation's 8th Prime Minister. He emphasized that while his leadership may one day pass on, the structure and vision of Pangu will endure. The Prime Minister used the occasion to also outline government's achievements and forward strategy, highlighting over 29 billion kina in capital investment delivered in 6 years, major infrastructure connectivity, including roads to Telefomin and Vanimo, plans to link Port Moresby and Lae by road for the first time in PNG's history, stronger judicial independence and expanded justice infrastructure, and delivery of specialist national hospitals, including the National Cancer Center, National Heart and Cardiac Center, and dedicated kidney and dialysis center, bringing advanced healthcare services to Papua New Guineans previously forced to seek treatment overseas, a long-term succession plan for party leadership beyond 2027, and a bold vision to grow PNG's economy from 79 billion kina in 2019 to 200 billion kina by 2032 to 2035. A key highlight of his address was the government's plan to sequence 17 major resource projects across the oil, gas, and mining sectors. These projects are expected to drive economic growth, secure greater state revenue, and create employment and business opportunities nationwide. Oil and gas projects including Papua LNG, Pinyang Gas Project, Milo Deepwater Oil Prospect, Tolokoma Gold Mine Redevelopment, and Woodlock Gold Project, Ramu Nickel Downstream Processing Initiative, Wafi Golpu Copper Gold Project, and Frida River Copper Gold Project, Simberi Gold Project's expansion, New Pogara Gold Mine, which was recommissioned with improved terms and 20-year life, Mount Kare Gold Project, and Kainantu Gold expansion. Marape says if sequenced correctly under Pangu's policy platform, these projects will push the countries towards the 200 billion kina economy target by 2033, based on the 55% total state take model the country have. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
TVWAN News continues after the break. Stay with us.
Hiya, Mama.
You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaru, get up and big smile on face. Time for kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, na mumu, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
The Toyota JD Hiace bus comes in 14 and 15-seater high-roof luxury model powered by 2.8 liters JD engine for optimal performance output, fuel efficiency and quietness, designed with improved safety features and easy maneuverability for tire steering angle. The Hiace lift suspension and annular frame structure is opted for smooth ride, comfort and safety. Experience the ride on the Hiace bus and experience the Hiace pride, the bus that exceeds all expectations.
Tell him shorty come get it. Come grind on me, but met it. Mommy get loose, get loose, get loose. Pepsi in my hand, ice cold, no excuse.
Simon, life is simple. Dreams seem distant, yet hope remains. One ticket, one dream. Simon's world changed forever. Yes! From small dreams to big possibilities. The One-Top Jackpot is here for everyone. Win big every day.
We started missing tackles and then we gave away too many penalties. We need to find a way to start to, find some opportunities.
I'm a little bit upset. I'm a Queenslander myself.
I reckon we would have kicked off at Spencer
and
gone after him a little bit.
Queensland are desperate.
I wouldn't drop Terry Evans, I really wouldn't.
No doubt whatsoever. Game 2, I think this will be one of the great games.
Welcome back. Farmers and Settlers Association, in a submission to Treasury, the Internal Revenue Commission and PNG Customs, raised issues of biosecurity, the protection of local industries and promotion by reducing tariffs and tax to grow PNG industries.
Farmers and Settlers Association, Wilson Thompson, stated that new local industries and jobs can be axed if government agencies do not enforce protocols. He made these statements after making a submission from Farmers and Settlers Association to Treasury, the Internal Revenue Commission, and PNG Customs. He said low prices and sourcing of products that are biosecurity risk affect local agriculture and processing industries. The association presented these concerns raised by its members, mainly farmers, on local manufacturers being threatened by cheap imports. He added that the country does not import uncooked poultry products from overseas that is listed as a threat. However, in recent months, important cocktails which presented a biosecurity risk and had to be destroyed in Mount Hagen. While it might be priced higher than local produced products, it poses biosecurity risk that could destroy the local poultry industry. The biosecurity bill was presented during the recent parliament sitting. The bill will see to the establishment of the Biosecurity Authority, which will protect animal and plant life and associated environmental risk in PNG through a sustainable biosecurity framework.
To essence in PNG needs to have in place a legislation providing for import controls, international controls and export controls pertaining to pests and diseases affecting animals, plants and their products. And this biosecurity legislation attempts to address this.
PNG needs to have in place a legislation providing for import controls, international controls, and export controls pertaining to pest and disease affecting animals, plants, and their products. This legislation attempts to address this, said Boto. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Residents in Lae Morobe Province have an additional location to go to if in need to key cutting services. Raswin Integrated Solutions have opened a new locksmithing and technology kiosk at the Brian Bell Plaza along Mangola Street in Lae.
Raswin Integrated Solutions is celebrating the opening of a new locksmithing and technology kiosk at the Brian Bell Plaza along Mangola Street in Lae Morobe Province. The grand opening on Monday, June 16th follows on the success of Raswin's existing kiosk at Lae Top Town, next to GM Floors Hospital. Raswin's Lae branch manager Linda Kotong outlined that the company, which has marked 30 years of service in PNG, opened its Lae branch in 2020 and noted the need to expand its services. Its services are not limited to key cutting only, but also cover a comprehensive range of electronic and mechanical security services and solutions.
What we are celebrating now is the opening of our lay key cutting locksmith key cutting kiosk. So Rustwin is a technical security company. Locksmithing was our core business back in 1996 when we first came into PNG. 10 years into the operation, we saw the need of venturing into electronic, for technical security and electronic security. So that's when we created the Department of Electronics, which covers our access control, CCTV, intercom, alarm systems. Other than that, we have our audiovisual department, which is huge in audiovisual. We do PA system, video conferencing, with a channel partner for Samsung commercial screens in PNG. We're also the channel partner for LG screens.
It will cost 12 kina to have standard keys like household ones cut. For automotive keys, driver's license and registration papers are required. Meantime, to celebrate the launch, customers who get a key at the new kiosk on opening day will receive a complimentary drink from Jean's Coffee, one of Lay's most popular coffee brands. This special offer is our way of thanking the Lay community for their continued support. Jasmine Irajak, TVWAN News.
People from Gunina Elevala village in the nation's capital produced a court order today to stop the development taking place at Akoro Idubada Point opposite Port Moresby Technical College. They've called on the Motu-Koita Assembly to ensure land disputes do not occur in Motu-Koita villages.
Phoenix Development Limited was issued a stop work order today for further development at the Akoro Idubada Point opposite Port Moresby Technical College. This was an interim court order to Phoenix Development Limited, Novada of Motu-Koita Assembly, and any persons of Baruni claiming ownership of the land. Tarata Hitolo from Tanobada Gunina Elevala village, who is the landowner, and the people of Gunina Elevala issued a court order issued last Thursday, filed under the Land Settlement Dispute Act. The court direction indicated Phoenix Development Limited, its servants and Kelvin Law, Minor Iduhu, and Novada restrained from carrying out any further development, including backfilling on the site. Phoenix Development Limited be restrained from making any forms of payment to any persons from Baroni Village claiming ownership of the disputed land. Phoenix Development Limited, its servants and Law Iduhu and Vada restrained from issuing any form of intimidation, threats, assaultive words, or actions and harassing or disturbing the applicant.
It's better to give court orders to developments in such locations at the earliest at the interim stage before further development going further, Actually, 3 parties involved, including us, and would be the 4th. So the landowners here plus Novada is the one. The first defendant would be Phoenix Development Construction as the developers, and I think the other parties are from Baruni. So this is also a call to the Baruni. If they have other papers or the titles, they can go to the courthouse and then try to defend themselves whether they are the legitimate landowner, because we have our papers here. That's why we are here standing.
According to spokesman Kawage, initial work on the disputed land had begun a month earlier. Kawage stated that it is the work of the Motu-Koita Assembly to be the mediator and bring developers in while doing their due diligence before any development work.
And this is a typical example here. Without the consent or without the bringing the legitimate landowner to the table to sit and then discuss further, they apparently had overstepped us and then went ahead and got some other individuals and then made a deal. So we are here to present a court order to prevent further development in the area here. If you can look to the back, this is the area that they are currently backfilling at the moment. So this must be a message to the rest of the Motu-Koitabu as well as the Motu-Koitabu Assembly to know that land grabbing is a crime. And they must always identify the legitimate landowners before going into doing any development work in a customary land, especially within such villages like this. So at such, this is our call, and we don't want any further work to be done here at Akoro Ridge or Akoro Waterfront here at Pomtech.
Phoenix Development Limited received the court order but didn't make any comments. The people of Gunina are calling on the other parties to the court order to make themselves available to receive the court order. Jasmine Irajak, TVWAN News.
In today's market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2433 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2357 US, $0.3605 Australian dollars, $0.1962 euro, and 33.71 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, palm oil, and crude oil closed higher. Cocoa, copper closed the day lower, and on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, and ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. You're watching TV1 News. Stay tuned for overseas news when we return.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG é minha! Pine PNG made.
Johnston with some room to move. Alex Johnston, he kicks it again. This should be a try. Alex Johnston did.
It's an unstoppable rush. Taking that extra mile, pushing beyond the limit and making it happen. Feeling the passion for rugby and empowering the next generation. Feel the power.
The PNG LNG project has now generated more than 30 billion kina for Papua New Guinea since production commenced. Nearly half of this amount has been paid as tax. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levies and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
Turning overseas, it started with Fiji's largest ever drug bust, seizing more than 4 tons of methamphetamine, estimated at $1.37 million in value. That's 3.7 billion kina. More than a year after police made the record haul in the country's tourism hub, Nandi, 7 people stood trial last week on several drug charges. stemming from the January 2024 raid. At trial, witnesses gave evidence revealing the alleged methods of the transnational meth trade. Witnesses described an alleged drug exchange raid late in 2023 involving a satellite phone, a super yacht and a meeting on the high seas. State Prosecutor John Rabuku opened his case on Monday at High Court in Lautoka, north of Nandi. He called Fiji an emerging hub for transnational drug trafficking and organized crime networks across the Pacific. The trial involves a record number of locals to be jointly accused in a single court case. 7 accused men pleaded not guilty, while 2 people entered guilty pleas before the trial started. Residents in a flood-affected North Queensland communities say they are being forced to leave the town they love due to a worsening housing crisis. Hundreds of properties were impacted when the record-breaking flood hit Ingham 4 months ago, compounding an already dire rental shortage.
Left of her prized possessions, Karen Thomas is reluctantly leaving her beloved North Queensland community.
This place has been sold, so I'm going to live with my grandchildren in a little room until I hopefully can come back to England.
The 63-year-old lost priceless memories in February's devastating flood emergency, including photos of her daughter who died last year.
All my baby photos, all my photos I lost. And I opened the box up and they were all destroyed. So I had to throw them.
Since then, she hasn't been able to find secure, affordable housing.
If there's a place for rent, it's gone in 5 seconds.
More than 200 homes in Ingham were severely damaged in the flood event, exacerbating an already dire rental market.
We had a housing crisis before the flood, and since the flood it's just been really incredibly challenging for a lot of our community to find suitable accommodation.
With labour shortages delaying repairs, it's forcing some to take drastic action.
We're seeing really significant overcrowding issues, lots of couch surfing, and then some people who have said, we just can't cope with another natural disaster and relocating out of the district.
It's very embarrassing as a real estate agent when you can't place a good tenant in a house.
Ms Thomas hopes she can return to her tight-knit community when more homes come back online.
Mourners in India have covered white coffins with flowers as funerals were held for some of at least 279 people killed in one of the world's worst plane crashes in decades. Health officials have begun handing over the first passengers' bodies identified through DNA testing, delivering them to grieving relatives in the west city of Ahmedabad. But the wait went on for all families. One victim's relative said they had been instructed not to open the coffin when they receive it. Meantime, Indian authorities have yet to identify the cause of the disaster and have ordered inspections of Air India's Dreamlines. The plane that crashed was 12-year-old. Boeing planes have been plagued by safety issues on other types of aircraft. According to experts, there are security about 1,200 of the 787 Dreamliner aircraft worldwide, and this was the first deadly crash in 16 years of operation. Like many primary producers, Australia tomato growers have watched their market share dwindle in recent years as cheap importers takes up more room on supermarket shelves. In northern Victoria, the number of tomato growers has almost halved, but those who've remained have started thinking outside the box for new revenue streams.
It's a staple ingredient for many Australian households, but the tomato industry is struggling.
As a percentage basis, Australian product is only supplying possibly 20 to 30% of the entire demand that the Australian market has.
These tomatoes are grown with the specific purpose of being turned into products like pasta sauces and canned tomatoes. But cheaper imports are hard to compete with, and growers are leaving the industry.
Over the last 10 years, that grower number has gone from about 12 active growing enterprises down now to about 7 growing enterprises.
To combat this, an Australian processor is thinking outside the box.
I'm not sure if people will believe this, but it's we're actually extracting the tomato seed oil, and it's going into the cosmetic industry.
Tomato seed oil is used by skincare brands for products like moisturisers, oils and sunscreens. They've also found a way to profit from the skins that would normally be fed to livestock, drying it into a powder for use in products like pet foods.
The goal is to utilise almost all of our byproduct by 2027.
With the fruit only making up 40% of the company's revenue, Mr. Free says it no longer needs to rely solely on processed tomatoes.
We need to get out there and start to proactively sell these other products that we've got access to,
keeping their skin in the game.
A street art festival hosted across Darwin has delivered a colourful makeover to city buildings and walls. Around 25 murals have been painted across the top and city during a 3-week event that's included international collaborations.
Day of the Dead to Darwin's local market delicacies, the streets of this remote tropical city are exploding with colour.
Angie and I decided to come up with the concept to kind of bring some culture from Mexico and California out here.
I just love to be able to share, something from back home around the world.
Over the past 3 weeks of the Darwin Street Art Festival, 25 new murals have appeared across the city. While most of the artists are from Darwin and across Australia, this year's event has attracted international interest.
So we've got 3 artists over from LA that we worked with in Venice Beach. So we worked with them there, and then we brought them back over here so they can learn more about the territory, see the territory, spread the word of the territory, and then bring some of this LA artwork here.
An opportunity to share artworks and the stories behind them.
You can pretty much walk around here and find murals that are comparable with something you're going to find in a major capital city worldwide, which is pretty remarkable.
In addition to bringing the world to Darwin, this year's festival takes Darwin to the world. The festival concludes tonight with an outdoor digital art exhibition, shown both here in the city's CBD and in Kenya's capital, Nairobi.
It's a collaboration for the 60-year diplomatic relationship between Australia and Kenya. For us, it's a really big, step to having an international presence.
New ground for a festival painting Darwin in a new light.
You're watching TVWAN News. In sports, PNG RFL announces Round 11 as Amazing Round in Digicel ExxonMobil Cup.
Rohan, really messing with your game. Time to sweep him out of the room. Or maybe not.
Bing bang bing, bing bing bang, bam bam bang, bing bang bing, bam bam.
Rugby League is a powerful force that unites Papua New Guinea and develops our youth. Through partnerships with the PNG LNG Kumals, Grassroots Rugby League and Justin Olam, we aim to instill skills to last a lifetime.
I'm community blue. When it's on you walk him, I'm come up community. You must all community.
When we invest in people, we invest in tomorrow's possibilities.
You sabitu olsem kondom M1 way where you can abrusim seek HIV, STI na unplanned pregnancy. Tingim, use him condom long right way. Stop safe na look out him you yet. Use him condom all get a time. Suppose you know save long HIV status long partner blog you or suppose you got plenty partner. Use him condom good all get a time. Long haborusim seek HIV, STI na unplanned pregnancies. Use him condom banisim you yet na future blog you. This platok save ikam long National AIDS Council Secretariat.
Nicely driven, just leant into it. Good chase, good dive, good effort. Edge, Carey takes the catch. And the skipper gets his first of the test match. That's the way to play. If you get a chance, you cash in. And 2 good boundaries in the over.
Well, that has been punched away beautifully. Oh dear. And that will be game done.
Zach Lomax put in the first try for New South Wales tonight.
You know, Tom's the right person for the number 7 jersey right now.
I am just Marun win.
Thanks for staying with us. In sports, PNG Hunters recorded a consecutive loss on home turf against Sunshine Coast Falcons. The Falcons won 18 points to 16. Head coach Paul Iton was not pleased with the result but commended his players for staying in the contest for the entirety of the match.
Is it too much? I don't know. I think
the PNG Hunters finished the game 16-18 in favour of the visiting Sunshine Coast Falcons in a drizzly weather conditions in Port Moresby. They couldn't nail the win with the home ground advantage as the visitors proved too strong in the end. The Hunters coach Paul Iton said his players didn't go away despite trailing on the scoreboard. They stayed in the grind for the entire match, and that is something he said he hasn't seen in the previous Hunters teams.
I like that we fought to the end. You know, it wasn't like last week where we gave up, which is something that from the Hunters that I haven't seen for a couple of years. But this year we fought right to the death, so got to hat off to the boys for that.
The Hunters coach further said his side had a big week preparing for this game against the Falcons, but couldn't get the win.
I think it was a pretty good week leading up. It was quite a big week emotionally, I think, for the boys. So I think we'll just take the foot off a little bit, let them rest, and then we'll reassess.
Having lost consecutive matches on home turf, the PNG Hunters will have to put a massive performance to remind the Rugby League fans they are a genuine contenders for the Host Plus Cup title. The Falcons head coach Danny Gray, on the other hand, said it was a physical game as expected by his team. He said it was a fair contest, but his side managed to hold on to an important win.
Felt like a decision we got at the end. I'm not sure if we earned it, but we'll take it. But really great game. You know, exactly what we expect coming here to Port Moresby playing the Hunters. So it's always physical, but they were just coming to get us that whole second half, and they just couldn't quite put us away. So I'm really proud of my boys.
It was a fair game for both teams, with PNG crossed over for 4 tries and Falcons 3. But it was a poor goal conversion from the Hunters cost them the game. Elijah Roltinga, Alex Max, Guy Rovoro and Brandon Nima were Hunters try scorers. Rex Litter, TV1 Sports. The PNG Premier Soccer League kicked off season 2025 over the weekend in Port Moresby and in Lae. Port Moresby hosted 2 matches and Lae hosted 1. Prime Minister James Marape was in the branches at PNG Football Stadium on Sunday, supporting as patron of Admiralty Island FC. The PNG Premier Soccer League got off to a flying start with 10 participating teams. Some brilliant football was played in both Lae and in Port Moresby, giving football fans what they can expect over the course of the season. Bougainville FC and Kula FC made a successful introduction into PNG's premier football competition, rubbing shoulders with seasoned football teams. On Saturday, Port Moresby strikers welcomed newbies Bougainville FC with a baptism of fire, beating them 6-0, before United Highlands FC and Gulf Comara drew 2-2 in Port Moresby. In Ley City Dwellers beat Ley City FC 2-1. On Sunday, Admiralty Island FC pulled off 2-2 draw against Star Mountain FC, before FC Morobe Wawens edged out debutants Kula FC 2-1 in Ley to round up the round 1 matches. Kula FC coach Percy Matayo was impressed with his side's debut performance against the seasoned Wawens. Matayo noted areas of improvement for his team.
First game, we can take a lot of lessons out of it. It's the introduction of many more games to come. Now they know what it feels to play in an NSL team or Premier Soccer League team, and we will only build from here onwards. In terms of the performance itself, the boys gave it their absolute best, given that it's their first ever game. We never had a pre-match or pre-season game before this one, or a trial match game before this first game, and them arriving at Tuesday in Moresby, and for them to make the trip early yesterday to come to Ley, it shows their commitment, their desire to play, and we gave it our absolute best. But I'm sure there are a lot of areas that we will work on and improve in the coming games. Yeah.
Prime Minister James Marape was amongst football fans in the football stands to witness the first round of PSL competition. As a club patron of Admiralty Island FC, he wanted to give his support to the Manus Island team, who were up against the Star Mountain FC from Bougainville. After the match, he had some positive words for the development of football in Papua New Guinea. Round 2 matches continue this weekend, both in Port Moresby and in Ley. Rex Little, TV1 Sports. Papua New Guinea's junior squash player, 13-year-old Timonales Alakos Krebis, was named the Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific Partners PNG Junior Female Athlete of the Year, claiming a back-to-back SP Sports Awards.
Young Timona Kribic, an aspiring squash player, was first awarded the PNG Junior Female Athlete of the Year in 2024. Currently in Denmark, Timona Lees was unable to receive her award in person but was beaming with joy upon learning of her win during the SP Awards night on Saturday, June 14th. She was announced the winner ahead of Kolita Hakena from tennis and weightlifter Ani Gewa Gavera.
I'm deeply honored to have won the award and winning it 2 times in a row, and I just want to say that the other 2 finalists also really deserve this award, and I just wish them the best, as we all deserve the same award, because this year they all did good and I wasn't expecting to win because the other 2 finalists had also good results, so I was unsure, but I'm just really thankful for the award. And I would like to thank my coaches, Coach Bradley Hindle and his team, and Coach Junior for representing me at the SP Awards.
Timona Lees began her squash development career at the Port Moresby Records Club. She represented both her club and PNG squash at the 2022 Sydney Oceania Junior Championships and the Australian Junior Open in 2023 and 2024, ranking first in the Australian Under-13 girls.
For the next 6 months, I'm just going to be training and getting ready for the Samoan tournament and all my other tournaments in Europe. And I will also lastly would like to thank all my supporters supporting me in my journey.
The PNG Squash Records Federation recognizes that the pathway to success requires a regional and international experience and acknowledges the importance that both PNG national coach Mark Foster, Bradley Hindle and the Daisy Hill Squash Club play in PNG squash development for several young players toward personal and representative success on the courts. The Federation said they are proud to have nominated Timona Lees in both 2024 and 2025 for the prestigious award that recognizes PNG's junior female athletes. With the 50th anniversary of PNG's independence, this is a special year for such achievements. Susan Oreape, TVWAN Sports.
Auckland City FC earned their spot in the FIFA Club World Cup by winning the Oceania Confederation. The team of amateurs played Bayern Munich first half, losing 10-0 to the German Giants. Jamal Munisalah had a hat-trick in a 17th minute span of the second half in front of the crowd that unfurled a banner saying "Smash FIFA," while accusing the governing body of mismanagement. Thomas Mahler, Kingsley Coman and Michael Ollie scored 2 goals each for the Bundesliga champions, who went ahead on Coman's goal 6 minutes in. Musiala, a 22-year-old midfielder, replaced Harry Kane in the 61st minute. He scored in the 67th minute, converted a penalty kick in the 73rd and scored again in the 84th. Auckland City were the club champions in the often overlooked Confederation of Oceania. They are the only non-professional team at the tournament. The New Zealanders next play Portuguese giants Benfica on Saturday at 2 a.m. The small Scottish town of Stranraer will become a hub of activity in July when yacht clubs from around the world take part in the St. Alice Cruise Club World Championship. Australia will be represented by the team from Perth, where the sport has battled to become an integral part of its yacht club.
Early on a cool Perth morning, these rowers are hard at work, preparing for the St Ives Skiff Club World Championships in Scotland.
We're now taking 16 rowers over to Scotland, mixed. We are all over 50, and the age range goes up to 79.
Attention! Go! St Ives skiffs are based on traditional Fair Isle skiffs fishing vessels, originating from a push to help stimulate boat building in Scotland in 2010. Since then, interest in the sport has taken off, with the skiffs being built around the globe and the inaugural World Championships held in 2019. A trip to Hobart a decade ago sparking the club's interest in this unique discipline.
And while I was there, I literally stumbled across one of these boats that was partly under construction. I was very taken with it.
But when it came to accepting rowing at a yacht club, it wasn't all smooth sailing.
Initially there was a little bit of a, well, you know, John, we are a sailing club, and I pointed out that in the early days of the club there were more rowing races than there were yacht races, and the club very quickly thought it was a good idea.
The Royal Freshwater Bay Yacht Club is representing Australia at this year's event, held in July on Scotland's southwest coast. Part of the rules are that these boats have to be built by the community to a certain specification. This boat isn't actually going to Scotland, but one identical to it will be borrowed for competition. A club from Perth hoping to launch on the world stage.
And back home to local sports, the PNG Rugby Football League has announced round 11 of the Digicel ExxonMobil Cup as the amazing round where all clubs will play in Port Moresby in a first-of-its-kind rugby league event. The amazing round will have 3 matches on Saturday, June 21st, and another 3 matches on Sunday, June 22nd. All matches will be played at the Santos National Football Stadium.
For the first time, the PNG National Rugby League competition will be hosting all games in Port Moresby for amazing round of the Digicel ExxonMobil 2025 competition, where it will bring all franchise teams to Port Moresby. The triple header on Saturday, June 21, will see Wage Tumbe play Kimbe Cutters, Gulf Iso meet Mount Hagen Eagles, and Hella Wigman take on the might of Mendy Muruks to round up the day. On Sunday, Ley Tigers meet Central Dabaris in the first of the triple header. Enga Mioks take on Egma Gurias, and the Port Moresby Vipers challenge Gorka Lahanis. The amazing round is a concept introduced by the PNG Rugby Football League to allow supporters and rugby league fans to come out and show support. This round is part of improving the delivery of the game and fan experience. PNG RFL Chief Executive Officer Stanley Hondinas said the league has always looked at new opportunities to push the development of the sport in Papua New Guinea, and this is part of promoting rugby league. He further said PNG Rugby League sponsors and partners will have other activities set up at the National Football Stadium aside from the rugby league action. It is their hope to create a safe space for families to come and enjoy a weekend of back-to-back rugby league. All the matches will be broadcasted live. Susan Oriape, TVWAN Sports.
Now the weather forecast. In tonight's weather for the regional forecast, southern Alatau partly cloudy with some rain showers, Poponeta mostly fine, Momase, Ley fine then becoming cloudy tonight with chances of few showers, Wewak partly cloudy with chances of few showers, New Guinea Islands, Kokopo and Rabaul mostly fine, Lorengau partly cloudy to mostly cloudy with rain showers and possible thunderstorm tonight, and Highlands, Mandi, Tari and Wabeg, cloudy period with rain and possible thunderstorm. Coral Sea, seas moderate to rough with southeast winds of 20 to 30 knots. Solomon Sea, seas light with east to southeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas light with easterly winds of 5 to 10 knots. Pacific Ocean, seas light to moderate with east to southeast winds of 10 to 15 knots. And coastal waters forecast. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru, to Kiwai Island, to Kerema, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, to Samurai Island. Seas 0.5 to 1 meters, rising to 2 to 3 meters along warning areas. Waters of Insafen through Vitia Strait, to CRC Island, to Dampier Strait, to Long Island. Seas 1.0 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel and Old Milne Bay Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of New Island to East New Britain Island and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And that ends the news tonight. Pleasant viewing. Good night.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by